Hey, cryptizens. Tonight's stories. Treasury issues guidance on crypto and sanctions. Citi's digital asset heads resign to form crypto startup. And Jamaica to airdrop Jamdex CBDC. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is March 12th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm your host, Nick. The cover model for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. We bring you new stories on familiar topics. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. If you're new here and you find that you like this show, subscribe and rate us. Give Tex and I 5 stars. It'll help other people find their way to this podcast. All right, here we go. Did you hear? The EU Parliament is putting the anti-proof of work provisions back on the table. So apparently there's a provision in their MiCA bill, and this bill is up for vote on Monday. Included in this bill is a provision to force proof of work crypto to switch to proof of stake. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. They'd been planning on just banning proof of work cryptos in the EU. Then they took that provision out. Now they're back at it, just kind of at a different angle. It says that crypto assets shall be subject to minimum environmental sustainability standards with respect to their consensus mechanisms used for validating transactions before being used, offered, or admitted to trading in the Union. Now, Ledger, they're a hardware wallet manufacturer, and they responded in a statement. They said, quote, individuals and organizations should be free to choose the technology most appropriate to their needs. Policymakers should neither impose nor discriminate in favor of a particular technology. This is deeply concerning and would have serious consequences for Europe. So, like I said, the EU Parliament is expected to vote on this on March 14th, Monday. So, before we get into tonight's stories, let's take a quick look at the markets. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.74 trillion. That's down 0.54% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.25%, Ethereum up 0.19%, Tether, Binance Coin down 0.19%, and USDC. The global NFT market cap is just above 10.06 billion. The top 5 NFT collections, according to CoinMarketCap, are Bored Apes up in price 0.06%, CryptoPunks down in price 0.02%, Meebits down 0.02%, Dower Darcels up 0.25%, and Mutant Apes are even on the day. Now, keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Treasury issues guidance on crypto and sanctions. In a FAQ released on Friday, the Treasury Department made it clear that cryptocurrency is not to be allowed to be used to evade sanctions. In the FAQ, they wrote, quote, U.S. persons, including virtual currency exchanges, virtual wallet hosts, and other service providers, such as those that provide nested services for foreign exchanges, are generally prohibited from engaging in or facilitating prohibited transactions, including virtual currency transactions in which blocked persons have an interest. It also says U.S. persons were not allowed to engage in transactions with those, quote, including virtual currency transactions involving the Central Bank of the Russian Federation, National Wealth Fund of the Russian Federation, or Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation. And they said persons, which legally, person is an interesting term because there are natural persons, or people like you and I, but there are also artificial persons. Those would be groups like corporations who have been recognized as people before the law. All that said, U.S. financial institutions are already prohibited from processing transactions, including virtual currency transactions, involving sanctioned financial institutions. This new guidance comes shortly after Senator Elizabeth Warren announced she was drafting a bill to prevent the Russian oligarchs or President Vladimir Putin from using crypto to evade sanctions. Now, meanwhile, justice is going to prosecute anybody that helps the Russians hide their assets, and they've got a new task force to help them do it. Their job is to freeze or take the assets of Russians who've been sanctioned. So to that end, they're going to be going after people and financial institutions that help Russians hide their assets. That would include cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency. That's according to a Bloomberg report citing a senior justice official. So this new task force is made up of prosecutors and agents and analysts and translators. They come from across Justice Department. And the team was put together to pursue these kinds of investigations. Kinds of things they're going to be looking for will be things like real estate or stock or bank accounts, those big mega yachts you sometimes see, airplanes, jewelry, art, whatever. And we know where this is coming from because there are a lot of people who are rightly showing concern that Russian oligarchs will be able to evade sanctions. And until they're confident that these oligarchs are not going to escape justice, that they will be held to account, they're going to keep at it through measures like this. Citi's digital asset heads resigned to form crypto startup. And these guys are really just the latest in a string of banking vets that have left the field to blaze their own trails in crypto. Alex Crete was the co-head of digital assets at Citi. For 11 years he'd been with Citi. At least this was the case until Thursday when he announced his resignation on LinkedIn. In that resignation announcement, he said that he's planning on devoting himself to crypto full time, that he was developing a new cryptocurrency company, and that was about it. Now, Crete had led the digital assets group with Greg Girasol. They'd only formed this group like last June, so less than a year. Oh, and Girasol also announced that he's leaving. He announced it, again, via LinkedIn. And the pair of them are planning on starting their own blockchain-related enterprise. While the details are scarce now, they said they would be providing more details in the coming weeks. Now, it would seem that Crete's excitement for crypto comes from his belief that digital assets will, quote, continue to grow in importance to global capital markets and the formation of new business models. He says he's been interested in blockchain digital assets for over 5 years, and now he wants to, quote, assist in the maturation of this market. And so their digital assets group wasn't the only group of that kind at Citi. While their group was in the wealth management division, there was another digital assets group in their institutional clients group. That one is led by their recently appointed Puneet Singhvi. Also, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. Matt Zhang, Citi exec, he jumped ship and launched a $1.5 billion crypto fund, HiveMind Capital Partners. HiveMind, they partnered up with Algorand. And then there's Roger Bartlett. He was a Goldman Sachs exec, and he said it was, quote, time to embrace the crypto economy. So he left Goldman Sachs. He's running global financial operations at Coinbase now. Jamaica to airdrop Jamdex CBDC. So Jamaica is planning on dropping 2,500 Jamaican dollars to their first 100,000 citizens that set up wallets after April 1st. That's about $16 in US. Dr. Nigel Clark is Jamaica's Minister of Finance and Public Service. He was delivering the opening presentation in the 2022-2023 budget debate. We've talked about Jamaica's CBDC before, central bank digital currency. When Bank of Jamaica unveiled the CBDC, they explained that the name was short for Jamaica Digital Exchange, and that their CBDC has a tagline, and that's no cash, no problem. So, is this airdrop just a part of the Jamaican plan to modernize their economy? Well, according to Finance Minister, anyone that has a bank account can get a Jamdex wallet. They said there are more plans for more incentives to use the CBDC. Now, Jamdex is supposed to launch somewhere in the area between beginning of April through June. The government wants the Bank of Jamaica to be the only issuer of JamDex, which is to be recognized as a legal tender. Clark also pointed out that the network effect of digital cash. So the more merchants such as corner shops and vendors and bars that accept JamDex, the more that will allow it to be used, and the more widespread it's going to be. And the government is also looking for ways to incentivize businesses to set up electronic wallets and to conduct payments in JamDex. Hasn't really been brought up much, but Jamaica actually has a huge unbanked population. Something like 17% of their population, they just don't use banks. There was a study that reveals a citizen without a bank account is more likely to spend compared to those who do have a bank account, which makes sense. If you don't have a secure place to store your money, it might make sense to spend it before it gets stolen or lost. So for the unbanked population, they said that citizens will need a CBDC wallet that has KYC, know your customer, provisions. They said, quote, if you don't have a bank account, all that's required to set up JamDex enabled wallet are simplified know your customer information, name, address, date of birth, tax registration number, and a government valid photo ID, such as driver's license, passport, voter identification card. Of course, once the system is complete, the INIDs will be accepted. Meanwhile, JamDex has been met with kind of a mixed response. Some have questioned the leader's motives behind the move. Others just they don't like anything. Not the name, not the choice of the logo, not even the slogan. So I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So let me ask you this. What do you think? Is the EU going to just ban all proof of work crypto? Will there be some sort of provision to give people time to move over? Ethereum, they're moving from proof of work to proof of stake mechanism. So how are they going to enforce this if they do decide to ban it? Will it just mean that you can't mine crypto in the EU? Will the EU ban owning and trading any proof of work crypto? Let me know what you think. Send me an email at crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. That's crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. And give crypto in 5 minutes to listen. We've got 31 educational podcasts, 5 minutes to explain one concept in crypto. And forever, may peace